Okay, unfortunately, the previous two campaigns were way too fast for this game, apparently. So now it's time for the game to pull the fucking drag chute. But first, and here's the first main problem on Silver's campaign immediately. Silver is literally discount Trunks. That's basically it.
Pretty much.
I mean, I wouldn't mind
people
that.
made the Dragon Ball comparison all the time with Shadow being Vegeta and everything, but this is, at this point, this is ridiculous.
I mean, I wouldn't even mind it if it was like done in kind of a fun kind of way, but this, again, the supersonic thing, it's mostly just an extra thing that does, and even when it is part of the plot, it's even not all that played up. This is straight up future Trunks shit. Like, seriously.
To be fair, the whole hero comes from the past. I mean, the whole hero comes from the future thing to try and solve the past as well. That was not necessarily a Dragon Ball Z exclusive thing. To be fair,
it wasn't. It's just that, like, it's the fact that he's also silver, just like Trunks is silver hair. Like, the comparisons are kind of inevitable.
Oh, it also doesn't help that there's this long-running theory that Shadow is Silver's father, but I'll go into that later.
That's the thing, too. It depends on the anime. You see, in Dragon Ball Z, he's silver-haired. In Super, he's blue-haired. I'm guessing to match Bulma's hair. And in GT, he's purple-haired. It changes constantly.
So he has a similar issue to Franziska von Karma, who went from having gray/silver hair to having more bluish hair.
But yeah, like I was saying, it's just that his hair is inconsistent. Purple-haired in GT, silver in Z, blue in Super. It's fucking inconsistent.
That tends to be an issue with, the sort of gray-haired characters in anime. Like, even in Ace Attorney, Edward's hair constantly changes from black to gray. Franziska's hair goes from silver to gray to bluish to gray.
Okay,
anyway,
so here's Silver's gameplay. Silver is not fast. At all.
Oh, by the way, he cannot jump on enemies at all.
I would like to take a quote from...
No one can jump on enemies.
I would like to take a quote from John. Some call me Johnny's Let's Play of 06, the one on Super Gaming Brothers channel, where he says something that I wholeheartedly agree with when it comes to alternate characters in Sonic games. When you make an alternate character in a Sonic game, that character, of course, needs to have his own gimmick to separate him from Sonic, obviously, but speed needs to go along with that gimmick.
Let me finish. If everyone's fast, what makes Sonic so special?
I was about to get into that. He addresses that as well. He addresses that as well, Dwebs, right after. So allow me.
Make him slightly slower, like Knuckles in Sonic 3K.
Exactly. Thank you, Jova. I would shake your hand if you were over here, but I can't. Anyway,
mental handshake.
Yes. What was I saying? Yeah. Speed needs to go along with that gimmick, because if you're not even gonna put in speed in, then why are you even putting this? Because again, speed is the theme of the series. Let's just face it, it is. Don't get me wrong. It's also about platforming and to a lesser extent exploration. But speed is what separates Sonic from other platformers. So you need to have at the very least that. Also, another thing, like you just said, Whips, if everybody was as fast as Sonic, then what would make Sonic so special? That's just the thing. Like Jova just said, there can be multiple speed levels, and second, like Johnny said, Sonic Adventure 1 did a good job in difference. Like, Sonic had the homing attack, nobody else had the homing attack. Knuckles could climb and glide, nobody else can climb and glide. Tails can fly and use his tails in a spin attack. Nobody else can do that. You started to see what I mean?
Amy had a giant hammer, which allowed her to do a massive wide attack when need be.
Although Amy didn't have speed, but that's a topic for another day.
Oh wait, hold on. Well, that's actually the thing I was going to mention.
Well, screw that though. Silver can flap his wings and fly.
Okay. Here's the thing about Adventure. The only character who never had anything to do with speed was Big. Like, even Amy, while not as fast as the others, she still had a sense of speed to her with the before Zero got onto you. So even with Amy, while she wasn't as fast, there was still a semblance that speed was a focus in her sense. Silver has no speed whatsoever, none. Like, he's... Okay. Big is the one character who has nothing to do with speed and adventure. That's probably the reason why I don't like to play
falling down.
And yet, even Big is more fun to play as than Silver.
But you see, Tail, this is the game that inspired the Lightning Returns. don't you see?
By the way, speaking of the Habits Physics Engine, Silver may as well be the sole reason the Habits Physics Engine exists.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, basically, until you upgrade him to a certain point, he can only attack with projectiles, which means if you're out of projectiles, which is anything you can pick up, you're boned, because you can't pick up and stun enemies yet.
Which makes playing as Silver in the main campaign before you get the power-ups a fucking pain. Trust me, it's like see, there you go. This is all I can do. I have to kill that thing to open the grate, but I have to consistently throw the exact same thing over and over and over because this is fun.
So yeah, while boxes may have been a nightmare in the other campaigns, here they're your only saviors, so you gotta wait for them to respawn.
Brilliant. Anyway, like the gameplay,
the sensitive rules.
Like I've already explained in the brief moment he shows up in Sonic's campaign, Silver's all about psychokinesis. If you, by the way, that red-green marker, for those who forgot, if you touch it and use the R trigger, it does some kind of thing, usually some kind of platforming set piece.
His powers are very selective.
Yeah.
Extremely compared to how he was in, I don't know, the other story campaigns.
You see, Shiro, there's two types of ESEP. Normal ESEP and Lazy Rider ESEP.
Chow Garden has been destroyed, guys.
Hold on to that thought too. You see, Shiro, there's normal psychic powers, and then there's Lazy Rider psychic powers. Lazy Rider psychic powers just do whatever the fuck the Lazy Rider wants to move the plot forward. That's the basic gist of it. Anyway, okay, so you mentioned Shao?
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to present one of my primary cases. I think it's in this particular platforming section, if I remember correctly. Let me see. No, it's not. It's in the one after this. Alright, keep going, Joe.
Yeah, again, at least with Amy, there was still the sense that you had to speed up, and she was fun in Adventure 1. She's not fun in this game, but we'll get to that more soon.
I'm pretty sure you didn't actually quite touch that dash pad.
Did I already? Actually, now that I think about it, did we talk over it?
Wait, whatever. We're
oh, we did. We did talk over it. Okay. In that case, let me point it out. Basically, Teo, if you look closely, here in Crisis City, there's a poster for Shao in Space Free. For those who don't know what Shao in Space is, it's a running gag between...
Wait.
Yes. Well, remember, Dwebs, each character has their own amigo characters, and Blaze is the second best character in the game. She's quite faster than Silver. She's not as fast as Sonic, but she's fast enough. I kind of wish Blaze. In fact, I kind of wish Blaze was the third character.
Actually, is she faster than Sonic? I know Omega is because he's the fastest character in this game, but
I know a lot of people say she's faster, or at least just as fast.
Regardless.
Here's another thing. Her homing attack actually does not suck like Sonic or Shadow.
That's just the thing, Jova. Like she's saying right now, you press square to home facepalm the enemies. Here's the problem. Unlike the homing attack, it's not that reliable because there's a lot of times when I'm trying to do a homing chain with it, and Blaze sometimes just blasts. She just flies off away from the.
And when it comes to the homing attack characters, I've always had the best luck with Blaze because, her animations seem to be precise, quick, and they don't seem to have a chance of getting stuck onto them, unlike with Sonic, which can outright fail, or Shadows, which again has that combat issue.
Let's just say, Jova, if you've experimented with her homing attack as much as I have, you'll notice that sometimes when you mash X too quickly, the homing chain. I get the feeling her homing chain programming is unfinished. Because
to be fair, mashing X too quickly has been a thing since the Adventure 2 era,
no.
so I think that may screw you up.
You're not getting what I'm saying. You're not getting what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that if you mash X to draw a homing chain, but you mash it too quickly, the homing chain will go apeshit and Blaze will fly off. It happened to me plenty of times. That's the. And quite frankly, I don't think it should, because in the adventure games, I could literally homing attack like a motherfucker.
When it came to Yeah, I definitely get what you're talking about. They did something similar to this in Adventure 2. The difference is that Adventure 2 didn't necessarily punish you with death. It punished you by making you miss an alternate path you could take. Not to mention you had stuff like the Lightspeed Dash in Adventure 1, which pretty much KO'd all enemies on the screen.
Yeah, she seems to recover from a homing attack far quicker than Sonic.
She does.
Kind of just
well, remember, Shira, we already established from watching the prototypes in Part 0 that the homing attack programming was never properly finished. Because then,
which is why I say that Blaze's homing attack is better than Sonic's in this one. I mean, yeah, it can fail, but so can the others. And then, like Shira said, hers actually bounces off.
I'll go on
you
ahead.
can actually make your way through her.
Fun fact, that's
voicing
Blaze. This is the same actress who played her in Rush, I think.
Yeah, Bella Hudson.
Yeah,
Okay.
I prefer her current voice actress. Anyway,
I want
Yeah,
to
I wonder why that
I
is.
wonder why.
just to finish what I was saying to Tail.
Yeah.
Basically, I don't know if you know aware of Shadow in Space Tail. Basically, it's a running gag that started in Sonic Adventure 1. In Sonic Adventure 1, when you go to the Casinopolis, you might notice that there's a billboard called Shadow in Space, which is, I'm guessing, it's basically a running gag of that Shao have their own space opera series of sorts. I still wish Sega would actually make that a thing. So it's the Shao in Space billboard in Sonic Adventure 1. Then in Sonic Adventure 2, they continue the running gag with Shao in Space 2. And this game, in the other hand, has Shao in Space Free, which again further adds to the very strong belief that a lot of people have that this game started out development as Sonic Adventure Free.
It's actually confirmed it started out as Sonic Adventure Free at some point.
It was actually Sonic Unleashed that started off as Adventure Free.
This is pretty much which makes a lot of sense because even though it does have its own unique changes from the formula, like Sonic Adventure 2 had from Adventure 1 as well, the overall core mechanics of it, it's pretty much the closest thing we ever gotten to another adventure game since 2. So this is pretty much this is the closest thing we ever got to a Sonic Adventure Free. It kind of is when you get right down to it.
In all the X of this level, the most of the killing is not happening by you, but by actually the environment itself.
Yeah.
Like half of the time, it's just the enemies getting killed by random falling objects, and not by your by SCWRM psychokinesis. Here we go.
All right, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to get some we're about to get, well, after 2 cutscenes, and the second one is the stupidest cutscene in this entire game, in my opinion. And I'm going to take a few liberties because I could not voice it better than him. So, in a humble smaller LPer to a much better LPer than me, I would like to take a clip from someone else, because trust me, this clip is so perfect that if I was the one commentating on it, I would just repeat his words because his opinion mirrors mine. Trust me, I have prepared this especially because he, better than anyone, can explain to you why Mephiles and Silver's entire plot in general is a complete fucking piece of retarded garbage.
So it'll be the scene
Pedro, WTF, why you steal footage 0 out of 10?
Well, Dwibs, I'm giving him credit and humbly saying that,
Pedro, in some people's minds, it's not enough.
Well, people need to fucking...
Whatever. Whatever. Let's just write perfect chaos. I mean, Iblis.
Yeah, seriously.
Can I talk about... Yeah, it's interesting Joven mentioned that. Can I talk about how I absolutely hate the design of Iblis? Look at it! It's Bland Monster 101. See, look, it looks like a Final Fantasy reject monster. Could it look any more bland?
The color pattern used for the level is actually very unpleasant to look at. I don't mean in a sense that disturbs you. You really don't want to look at this. No, that's the thing, Dweebs. There are countless magma type of monsters that are actually really appeasing to the eyes, even by the fact that they are actual monsters. Iblis, it's just a mess.
I get that.
I love fire aesthetics in video games, and this just looks ugly as shit.
It's true that Japanese game designers tend to be pretty weak in monster design a lot of times. The Tales series, of course, has a lot of generic enemy design, and even Ni no Kuni 2, for as much as I love that game, the monster design in that game is much more towards the Tales type of generic compared to the familiars of the first game. However, you're not going to make up for that in a lot of other areas anyway. The problem is that, again, this is our primary villain. This is it. This is one of our 2 primary villains, technically. And look at it. I mean, I can.
Character
I will
isn't
give it
really a
credit.
villain, and more of a plot
I will
device, so-
give it credit that unlike the fal'Cie, I can actually tell somewhat what I'm looking at. But still, like I can see where the head is. Hold on, I can see where the head is. I can see where the arms are. I can see where the torso is. So, points to you, 06. You still did that at the very least better than the Final Fantasy 13 trilogy.
See,
Go ahead.
Let's compare this to other Sonic bits in here. Chaos had so many different forms and layers to him. So it made sense when one form was, this or that. So, he had different forms to him. Ippus has a grand total of 4 forms, and that's being generous. The first is this form. The second is, well, the worm, which is the worst boss in this game. The third is a super powered up form, and then the fourth is just him when he's just flames. And no, I'm not counting Solaris.
You were saying, Teo, by the way?
No, but at least the boss theme is actually cool enough.
It's okay, I guess.
Although, I'll be quite honest, I found Mephis's boss themes more fun.
Personally, I find the boss themes in this game to be rather forgettable. Honestly, they're not. It's not that they're bad. It's just that I can't for the life of me remember them.
One man's trust is another man's treasure. In this regard,
like I've said before, to me the big star aspect of the soundtrack is the cutscene music. I freaking adore the cutscene music in this game.
Depends. Some cutscene music, sure. Other cutscene music, Unleashed in Colors did it better.
I guess we'll have to agree to disagree. I don't really particularly care for it. Actually, no. I like the soundtrack for the final cutscene. That was pretty damn good. I'll give it
I prefer the level music, to be honest.
Yeah, that's the thing, dudes. There are some good level themes, but a lot of them are also forgettable, like we mentioned, Aquatic Base.
I mean, not everything.
Go back to blend Black
hold
Hole.
On. Give a thumbs up, please.
No.
Dang it.
It's interesting you say that, because Johnny made that comment as well in his LP.
Oh well.
Let's not sully Terminator 2's good name with this.
So, here's actually an interesting question.
Pedro, we've already got Terminator 4 and 5 to do that.
True.
And 3.
I forgot that they actually give us
3 is not as god-awful. I mean, 3's only main issue was the ending, but other than that...
By 20 points!
I forgot if they actually specifically stated, but why is Iblis actually constantly regenerating no matter how?
Because he's the Eternal Flame.
Because he's the Eternal Flame. Remember, Teo, we created him in a lab, and remember, he's a god, too. Basically.
I'm so tempted.
Well,
I know what you're thinking.
Okay, alright, call Kratos then. Whatever.
Kate's cutscene.
Yeah, we should watch this.
Boy. You cannot be a boy. You have to be a warrior.
Please go back to your good game, please.
That reminds me, like, the main theme of the new God of War is fucking amazing. Seriously.
Oh, by the way, Silver mentions that there are actually people in this universe.
Well, they're definitely not there anymore.
Here we go. We thought Mephil... Okay, you know how Mephiles was the primary source of retardedness in Shadow's campaign? Silver is the big source of it. Although, of course, Mephiles still manages to dish out a couple things. That analogy is stupid, and so are you.
Dan Green mentioning a chicken. I'm not sure if I have to mention the reference for this.
You know what's funny? In SSMB, remember the 10th Doctor runs a bit of Sonic.
Basically,
he rearranges those bits and has Memphis say.
Hold on, Jova.
Okay.
Hey, Blaze, did you hear that creepy music? Let's trust this guy. I mean, doesn't he look like he'd be so trustworthy?
I think we really needed that close-up with him watching it.
I mean, okay, now to be fair,
Alright, so here's the
characters are seeing. That's actually what we, the audience, are seeing, to be fair, for that scene.
I know, but look at his face, though. I mean,
I know. I mean, though, to be fair, there have been plenty of cases where an evil-looking person is not always evil. You know, it goes with the saying, don't always judge on first appearance.
Hold on. I love this delivery. I love this delivery.
No way!
Yes,
brilliant.
By the way, guys, I noticed the Sega signs in the background.
Yeah.
Alright, what I'm gonna do... This is by far the worst cutscene in the game to me. First, I'm gonna let it play so that you guys can watch it for yourself and make up your own minds. Then I'll bring up that clip.
And then we can also commentate it on ourselves in our own commentary, too.
That's what this part is for.
Shouldn't Silver ask if the guy looks like first hand rather than wait a bit?
True that.
Feel free to voice your own problem. Sorry.
How is that computer functioning?
Feel free, because plot tail. Feel free to voice. Go ahead. Feel free to voice your own thoughts either here or after my clip.
I know that I said that you have this person to blame. I don't have it on my records, but I have it in this Chaos Emerald.
I have.
Like, okay.
Sorry.
Like, okay, seriously.
Chaos Emeralds can run YouTube.
Okay. See, look, my problem is not so much about Mephiles looking obviously evil. The problem is also his mannerisms and behavior and the fact that Silver doesn't question anything.
Blaze, you want to have an input on it?
Listen to it.
Blue Hedgehog.
Fun fact about that.
Is she remembering him or not?
Fun fact about that, that's actually considered to be a mistranslation because, see, the word blue in Japan is also synonymous with the word naive, which means that in Japan, it's hinted that Blaze may have been actually calling Silver naive.
We just teleports when we know.
But here it got
that effect was terrible.
Blue Hedgehog.
Yes.
Alright, that cutscene had so much stupidity that help is needed to explain it. So I humbly would like to borrow this clip. Credit goes to the Super Gaming Brothers. Take it away, Johnny, if you don't mind.
With my help, you can. Because I have the power to
in 30 frames.
Time.
And pause.
Okay, let's think hard about this, Silver. Okay, let's look at the circumstances here. Granted, I know that you and Blaze...
That freeze frame is perfect.
You grew up in this world, and for your entire life, you've been trying to stop this menacing demon. They have no idea where exactly the origins are, and you do anything to stop him at this point. But think about this, Silver. If this guy had the power to time travel on a whim, why didn't he
do it for you
and do the job?
Yeah.
He's so concerned about this world's future. Think about it.
It's funny how both me and Johnny pick up on a few things. Like, Johnny picks up on that, and I pick up on the fact that, okay, he has the facts on his data records about the disaster, but he doesn't have any records actually stating that a blue hedgehog was involved. No.
Oh, don't worry, Joe. He's about to get to that, believe it or not. He's about to get to that, actually. So.
And what are these records?
I forget if this was around when Ted introduced Johnny to Ace Attorney too, because that is downright Ace Attorney.
This was before. This was 2012. Here we go. This is by far one of the stupidest. I hate this cutscene so much.
Well, it looks terrible.
Not just that, but
that's the least of its problem.
I mean, seriously, I could do that.
You see it,
and now it's all within my reach.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, it's literally my reach in this Chaos Emerald I'm holding.
Go ahead, Johnny.
And this is where I have to begin to discredit Mephiles here. So, in order to fully convince Silver that Sonic is the Iblis Trigger, you pretty much just did what could be the equivalent of showing him a photo and saying, "This guy did it." And that's it. You could have made up some kind of fake imagery of Sonic.
So, Mephiles is essentially just a dumb Ace Attorney villain when you get down to it.
Basically.
He got lucky because Silver is so stupid.
I mean,
there's being naive, and then there's being stupid.
I mean, even Turnabout Big Top has better foundation to it.
And like he's saying, Blaze is supposed to be the mature one, the one that's supposed to be the voice of reason, and she just stands there.
Never mind the fact that as far as we know, this is the same Blaze who should know Sonic. But the game does not explain that well.
And if it was indeed a mistranslation, then...
Stupid. It was even more stupid is that Blaze doesn't question it either.
Yeah.
She probably didn't even see the damn imagery. She didn't even ask Silver, "What did you see?" But again, if they did that, then there probably wouldn't be a story. Anyway, let's continue on.
Exactly. So all Mephiles did was show Sonic in flames. There you go. Totally the cause of the apocalypse.
Sonic did it.
You know,
it's like Johnny put it. That's why I used that clip, because Johnny put it better than I could.
We're starting this hub war,
the reason I use that clip is especially because of his final line there, because he put it better than anybody ever could, me included.
Yes, Jova, I know you're
Jova.
Okay.
Shadow, what Mephiles did there... Hold on, let me just finish. What Mephiles did there was literally the equivalent of pointing to a guy and saying, "This guy did it." Like Johnny said, it really is that.
So
go ahead, Jova.
This line, Coffee Cup.
You're telling me.
It is unbelievable.
Now, I must fight for the future.
Yay!
G.I. Joe. Oh, sorry, wrong.
Wow, he actually runs faster than that than he does in the
Also, where did the rest of his quills go?
They're running. Well, Drips, he's running faster, so his quills are pushed down by the Air Force.
He's doing
It looks like they just vanished.
No, they're pressed down by the Air Force. Okay, so Mephiles in his infinite wisdom did not teleport the two together. No, they're in separate locations.
And of course, Silver is in the widest of the hub worlds. With his speed.
Go ahead, Shira.
Oh. You want to know if I've seen the Iblis trigger?
Who the hell is the
What the hell is that?
This guy?
Yeah, the game's like cool.
I didn't see anyone suspicious in town, so maybe he's hiding somewhere up ahead.
How do you know who the hell the Iblis trigger is?
What a helpful person.
Alright, that woman is useless. Let's try a different NPC.
Now,
Yes, I literally cut that because I don't want to torture you guys with that.
Paganini, seriously?
Go ahead,
Hey
too.
there, I was right.
Actually, I'll go ahead, too.
I will try whatever. It's the apple picking season in Sodian. I need to deliver these for the apple picking festival. Apple picking. Repeat that, ad nauseum.
Paganini.
apple picking.
Wait, are you seriously doing this? Getting apples for
Yes,
these
that's our
fuckers?
side mission, everybody. Picking apples and putting them in barrels.
Okay, Silver.
So,
Silver,
now
I know
we're
that
in
your
an episode
future
of-
sucks,
Okay,
Now we're in
I
an
like
episode of My Little Pony.
Exactly what I was about to say.
Okay. I like apples, but even the sub sounds a bit mundane.
Where are there even apples here?
Lips.
None of the trees have apples on them.
Yes, Pedro.
Dibs, I'll take the worst of fetch quests over this. Any day. Any fucking
Also,
day.
fun fact, a few years ago, thefts of iPhones were so popular in London, it was actually dubbed apple picking by the police.
This is flat out
Oh, yeah,
insulting.
this-
It's one thing to have a fetch quest like with Sabrina, because at the very least there you're actually, running for the town doing something. This is literally the game just telling you, oh, you want a side mission? Here, put apples in barrels, dipshit.
And you think it would be
But
easy,
you gotta
but
get
believe it
your
or
fight
not,
today, I guess.
believe it or not, you're on a time limit. Why? Because sometimes the apples will not go into the barrels, even though you try and drop them in.
Trust
Can't
me.
you just toss
Somehow
them?
those-
No, you can't.
That's
Trust
the
me.
thing,
Putting
Theo. Pedro
apples.
tried to do that. Okay, let me explain.
Yeah,
See,
go
here's
ahead.
the thing. Because of the habits physics engine, sometimes it'll register the dropping motion as a diagonal motion or a spreading out motion. This thing on the PS3 did not help. Like, we were walking Pedro's doing the 360 version. This is even worse than the PS3 version.
Yeah. Not just that. Here's how the S rank works as well. You might have noticed how every time an apple falls into a barrel, I gain points. So, and as you can see, the mission is time-based, meaning you're supposed to put in as many apples before the time limit ends. So obviously, the S rank is not based on time bonus because it's a time limit mission.
How do you like them apples?
Yeah. It's so basically what you have to do to get an S rank is master these fucking broken psychic controls somehow, and put in all the apples into the fucking barrel so you can get 30,000 points. Good luck, dipshit.
I'll give it this. It's better apple collecting than in the Aladdin PlayStation 1 game.
Yeah,
Go ahead. If you manage to get the S rank and get the gold medal, you get a fucking achievement to show how much of a fucking loser you are. If you play, however, since Theo would be playing this on a PS3, he would be just wasting his time because there's no trophies. Go ahead,
But
Theo.
Pedro, you say anyone who gets the achievements is a loser. Didn't you get that achievement?
Actually, no, Jova. The only achievements I have for Sonic 06 are all town missions with all characters, not necessarily S rank, just completing them, completing all storylines, and that's basically it. I don't think I have any more.
Anyway,
I can prove it to you by showing my Xbox profile. So.
I know. It's just like, well, you seem to range whenever you don't get an S rank, so you do know that if you effectively got all those S ranks, you get the achievement.
What I actually did, Joe, is I got a complete save file from the internet. However, since it's already completed, it doesn't register trophies. So, yeah. Go ahead.
I forgot to mention, Jova. You know who developed that game that you mentioned that I forgot to mention?
What, the Aladdin one?
Yeah, Argonaut, the guys who made Star Fox and Croc, managed to make a shitty Disney game.
You know, Teo. Sorry. You know, Teo. I'm gonna go one step further.
What?
I'll take massaging LeBlanc over this, because at the very least
was actually funny.
Because at the very least that was the game having fun with itself, and at the very least could be considered like it has that weird what the fuck sort of appeal. This is just boring and insulting.
Oh, the game certainly did have fun with it, so.
I'm sick of hearing this theme.
Yeah.
So let me put this into perspective, folks. It's a telepathic hedgehog who has psychokinetic abilities, and somehow the challenge of putting apples into a barrel is made tough because of the controls. It is hard for Silver to pick apples up with his psychic abilities and put them into barrels. And this is the guy who is supposed to save the future.
I would like to assure our audience that I'm trying my fucking best, but trust me, unless you play it, you have no idea how fucking hard it is to put apples in these fucking barrels. It doesn't look that hard, but trust me, when you actually get to the fucking controller and play it yourself,
you'll probably get better results. See, that's what I mean.
Oh, by the way, did I mention that the apples can vanish also before?
That's just a problem, too. That's just a problem, too. You can try that method I just did, but if you do that, the apples just break because apparently. So it's not at all. This entire mission is a fucking. It's terribly designed. It's terrible in concept. Everything. Whoever thought this mission was a good idea needs to be fucking fired and never work in the game industry ever again and die of starvation.
To be fair,
they won't starve if they eat all these apples.
True. To be fair, the mission idea itself is not bad. I mean, it should be but easy. Again, the problem is the controls.
That should be their severance package. Be given apples, so at least they can survive.
Excuse me, I need to go scream into a pillow.
See, again, here's the problem. Okay, you don't notice it normally. Oh, wait, go on, read to you.
Well, good job. I knew you would be a huge help. Seriously. The festival is going to be going to be great, easy.
Question two.
Why don't you put the apples in the
question
barrel?
two. Is there question two? Is his name a play on some kind of Italian word? Because
Pedro Paganini was a fucking composer.
Oh, sorry, I'm not familiar with.
A violinist.
Sorry, not familiar with. I mean.
So guys, let's add that to the number of list of festivals. There's also an Apple Festival in addition to the Car Festival,
right,
the Ring Festival.
Again, Jova, like I said, best line taken from Tangled for this game. Can't this kingdom go one day without celebrating something?
Oh, goody, we're heading for the jungle.
Today we're going to celebrate Apple Day, and tomorrow we're going to celebrate Tree Day, and then the day after that we're going to celebrate TV Day, and so on.
How fitting that the
worst TV cannot. Well, TV. Well, depends to us. What will be airing in said TV?
Where's Pod?
A documentary about TVs.
So
that actually still sounds more interesting than the Apple, so I'll take it. Go ahead, Joe.
So Shuri, what kind of festival do you want? Since they seem to have all kinds of festivals here.
Tea
any
festival? Or cats.
Oh, well, speaking of cats, there's a cat right over there.
Shiro, save that for Nino Kuni 2.
Pedro, you dick, you're stealing the kids' football.
Or Twilight Princess, when there's an entire village here to talk about cats.
That's like something a Zulu would
do. Guys, if I can't have fun, then nobody else in this game can.
But Pedro, here's the problem. The ball will just respond to the kid, so you've accomplished nothing.
Pedro,
God damn it, he's right.
Whole kid's sandcastle.
Go Jeff, it's going to go for all the rings. Of course it's going to go for all the rings, because of course.
You know what's funny, Pedro? That bit reminds me of how some call me Johnny once made a joke, like where somebody asked, but John, what if say your brother got run over by a truck that's metaphorically big rigs, and then Johnny retorts, it's big rigs, so truck just space through him.
That was in the I know which LP it is, but I'm drawing a blank right now.
Anyway,
I know it's in the Pikmin. It's in the Pikmin LP.
Guys, So guys, you want to be a Royal Soliana guard? What do you have to do? Go for rings.
Of course.
If only everything were that simple.
You know, if life were this simple, I'd
You know
be
what's
rich.
interesting? Yeah, some manufacturer Blowhole made fun of stuff like this, where Kanye West Fish literally starts talking about how okay, so yes, my mama went through columns because there's a frog, there's
Flappy Bird.
Flappy Bird parody. Yes, my mom went through columns. We all go through columns in life. But don't you see? Basically, he's literally saying. People are asking where I got my inspiration, but here's the thing: I don't get inspiration. I've always had it. That's why I'm motherfucking gay fish. God damn it!
Great.
Oh, Kanye West, you and your ego.
Great.
Although according
He's
to
on quite a role in recent
Silver.
days.
although Shiro, according to Dwibs, David Cage surpassed him in that regard. In our
Really?
Oh, he did.
He said so in
Yeah.
his Indigo Prophecy playthrough.
Oh.
Sure. Have you seen recent interviews from?
No.
Cage?
Not just. It's not just that. It's not that, Jova. It's that brief little newspaper thing in Indigo Prophecy where David Cage is literally creating personal fan fiction where Omicron is a movie. Remember, Omicron is his first game. That is a movie that just won every major award known to man and that everybody loves. And Jackson Peters, yes, Jackson Peters, is saying that it's the greatest thing that has ever created by man. Like, seriously, like, how...
It's the equivalent of Shyamalan's character in Lady in the
That
Water.
reminds me. Speaking of film-wise, have you heard what James Cameron has had to say about superhero films?
Yeah.
Yeah, he feels that, there's too many, and people
He
gonna
wants
start
the audience to
tiring.
get tired of superhero films. Most people say
Just
he's
so they
just
can
mad.
actually go see his 20,000 fucking Blue Smurfs sequels.
Didn't help that in response to him rightfully
Joe-
getting, called out on that.
It's
he then admitted-
actually a common thing. Steven Spielberg a long time ago also said that superhero movies were gonna go the way of the Western, and now he's
the Westerns are back.
and now he's gone full hypocrite by now directing a DCU movie. So
Wait, what?
fuck you, Steven.
Wait, what?
Well, remember,
Yeah,
Jova.
he's directing a DCU movie.
Steven Spielberg is the most recent hire by Warner Bros. To direct a DCU movie. So basically, Steven
Oh,
Spielberg is a
yeah.
fucking hypocrite.
Well, to be fair, he went on public to say that he admitted he was wrong. James Cameron is not.
To me, David Fincher did this as well. For those who don't know,
Like,
David
I mean,
Fincher is the director of
also
Social
the
Network,
lighting
Gone
there
Girl,
is terrible.
and other
Yeah.
and other piles of garbage. Again,
Like, I mean,
to
I'll
me,
give
this just comes
Spielberg
across as
credit, at least
filmmakers.
he-
Sorry, go ahead.
I'll give Spielberg credit. At least he has the guts to admit when he's actually screwed up and when he was wrong about the superhero thing.
I guess to me, it's again David Fincher, James Cameron. To me, it just comes across as filmmakers who are no longer liked, and they get jealous. And now this is basically them, taking it out on people, basically.
With James Cameron, people are speculating that it's because Black Panther beat Titanic at the box office domestically.
Don't you see, Jova? Nobody understands James Cameron's beautiful vision. He needs to talk about how shitty humanity is.
And the Smurfy cats.
I wonder, will we see a crossover between Terminator and Avatar now that he apparently owns Terminator again?
I think Cartman put it best. You can't just take Denzel's with Smurfs and give it a different name.
See you next time,
Alright,
folks.
then.
See
For
ya.
more silver shenanigans.
See you, everybody.